Most people commonly believe that the bridge and the field on the right is the site. It is not. If you pass the field, you will come to a wooded area. There you will find a 4-foot-tall sandstone pillar that marked the entrance to the orphanage. We parked our car and got out and went about 20 feet from the road where the pillar stands. You might have to look hard because it's easily missed. As soon as you step in the woods, you have a feeling of being watched, and a sadness envelops you. We went there in the middle of the day, about 4 p.m. It was cool and crisp, no fog or mist, at least not yet. And immediately upon entering the area, we heard above our heads, in the trees above, a squeaking door open and heavy footsteps. This repeated itself 3 times. The door sounded like one of those really heavy oak ones, and the footsteps sounded like heavy steps on hardwood floors. At this point, we went back to our car and got our tape recorder and our camera. We placed the recorder on the sandstone pillar. We then took several pictures. As I took the pictures, mist began to come around. We heard the dull roar of a fire and crackles of the flames. I heard mumbling voices. My wife became extremely uncomfortable and we went back to our car. As we drove off, I asked my wife to stop the car and I unrolled my window. There stood a young boy. He had blonde hair and he was about 7 years old. He was wearing ragged old clothes, a red sweater and dark pants. He sneezed. I asked him his name and he said Jacob. He appeared scared and looking for something. As we left, he stood in the middle of the road and waved by. As we passed the bridge, we stopped. We taped again. Later that day, we had our pictures developed. In the background, you can see 4 children's faces and a man in the distance in the woods. I wonder if the man is the one you speak of. He looked very ominous. The ominous man showed up in every shot. Later, after reviewing the recordings, we heard the dull roar through the whole tape. And no, it was not windy. About 4 minutes into the tape, there is 3 minutes of mumbling, somebody saying, "Help me," and screams, about 6 of them. You can hear the door open in the beginning, Jacob saying Jacob, and also Jacob sneeze. There is no way that we could have made these noises. We were incomplete due to the awe that we felt. While at the site, we did not hear the screams or the voices. We're going to get the pictures enlarged to poster size to get a better view. And later, found on our car tiny handprints. And on the driver's side window, there was Richard written from the inside of the car. If you have any other questions about Gore Urbanage, feel free to contact me. Thank you. So that was an experience one person had. There were some pictures. I wish we had visual. Did you read that? Cool. Interesting. I mean, you can't make that stuff up. You really can't. Gore Orphanage, again, my daughter did go, and she heard the, voices, and she did hear screams, and a few other things. I don't quite remember what. She's been there. She had been twice. So the second time, she went with a bunch of people, and only her and another person went because the other people were scared, of course. But creepy, creepy place. So that is on my bucket list. We also talk about Crybaby Lane or Crybaby Bridge, which is in Fremont, Ohio, which is like 15 minutes from me. And I had been there. And Spooklight we talked about, and that was another urban legend near where I live here. So quite a few things around Ohio. But the main one we talked about, Ike, was Mansfield Reformatory. A famous place of the Shawshank Redemption and the stuff that went on there. So I wanted to read that from Gore Orphanage because I thought that was so interesting and so cool. So if you have a special urban legend, Ike, tell me. See if I can let you know about it. That'd be great. Urban legends, of course, are very important to our culture. The Vanishing Hitchhiker, American Urban Legends and Their Meanings by author Jan Harold Brunvord As a definition of urban legend, he writes, a strong base story appeal, a foundation in actual belief, and a meaningful message or moral. But urban legends around aren't all serious life lessons and conspiracy theories. We talked about that a little earlier, conspiracy theories. With the scariest, most plausible ones, often framed as funny stories. An urban legend, or popular legend, urban myth, or contemporary legend is a form of modern folklore consisting on usually fictional stories, often with macabre elements deeply rooted in local popular culture. And I'm sorry, I don't believe that. I believe that, yes, the Mothman prophecies, of course. Of course, the Mothman prophecies. That's very cool, too, by the way. We talked about the Jersey Devil. That's another one. But again, like I said, there have been evidence on cars that have been hit or, they've been attacked in the road. Where did those dens come from? I mean, it was proved it wasn't a tree or anything like that. So, and numerous reports of that. Of course, we've all seen the Mothman Prophecies movie. Excuse me. The Mothman Prophecies, of course, was made into a book. But, before I go into that, because I reminded myself of conspiracy theories, we were talking about this town in Ohio called Helltown. And that is near, let me get back to it here. Helltown was once known as Boston Mills. And the idea behind that, Ike, was that the American government bought up the land and actually closed the town there because of a government chemical accident. Oh, there's a surprise, right? So a conspiracy theory with the government surrounds this whole thing. And people actually believe and have seen, and there have been reports of citizens mutated, disfigured, hiding in the area. And that there's an actually decaying church. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think most of the urban legends are based on a true story somewhere. They had to start somewhere. So, people say, "Oh, that's just a story." Well, where did it come from? It had come from somewhere. Again, several of them that I mentioned had to things that had happened. So, I think most of the urban legends stem from something real. Maybe they got embellished or whatever, but the basis is there. So that one with Helltown is actually, kind of a conspiracy theory. Okay, and now, Chris, you know about the Mothman because it's in West Virginia folklore. The Mothman is a legendary creature seen in the Point Pleasant area, especially during November 12th, 1966 to December 15th, 1967. And the first report, dated November 16th, was titled "Couple See Man-Sized Bird, Creature Something." The national press soon picked up on the reports and helped spread the story across the country. No, Ohio. Ohio, Chris, Helltown. It's one of the Ohio urban legends. Used to be known as Boston Mills, Ohio. And of course, the Mothman was introduced to a wider audience by Gray Barker in 1970. 5 men who were digging a grave at a cemetery. This is the basis of Mothman. Digging a grave at a cemetery near Clendenin, West Virginia, claimed to see a man-like figure fly low from the trees over their heads. And this is pretty much known as the first sighting of what became known as the Mothman. Oh, yeah, definitely. I want to go too. I'd love to get a group of us together and go investigate some of these urban legends. I do believe that most of them, like I said, are based from actual things that happened. Shortly thereafter, on November 15th, 66, two young couples from Point Pleasant, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Millette, told police they saw a large black creature whose eyes glowed red when the car headlights picked it up. They described it as a large flying man with 10-foot wings, following their car while they were driving to an area outside of town known as the TNT area. And it was the site of a World War II munitions plant. Yeah, good. Wouldn't that be cool? And during the next few days, other people reported similar sightings. Two volunteer firemen who said it was a large bird with red eyes. Now, these are firemen. Their stories can't be just, tossed aside so easily. Mason County Sheriff George Johnson commented that he believed the sightings were due to an unusually large heron he termed as a shit poke. Now, there you go. I don't think so. And contractor Newell Partridge told Johnson that when he aimed a flashlight at a creature in a nearby field, its eyes glowed like bicycle reflectors, and blamed buzzing noises from the television set and the disappearance of his German Shepherd dog on the creature. Wildlife biologist Dr. Robert Smith at West Virginia University told reporters that descriptions and sightings all fit the sandhill crane, a large American crane almost as high as a man with 7-foot wingspan, featuring circles of reddish coloring around the eyes. This particular crane was unrecognized at first because it was not native to the region. No, I don't believe that. After December 15, 1967, collapse of the Silver Bridge and the death of 46 people, the incident gave rise to the legend and connected the Mothman sightings to the bridge collapse. And in 2016, now this is interesting, in 2016, WCHS-TV published a photo purported to be of the Mothman, taken by an anonymous man while driving on Route 2. Science writer Sharon A. Hill proposed that the photo showed a bird, perhaps an owl, carrying a frog or snake away, and there is no reason to suspect it is the Mothman as described, and because there are too many other explanations. Yeah, no, I don't think so. There's something. Too many people have seen the Mothman, some strange things. So you tell me, do you really believe that it's just fiction? They're just making this stuff up? And there's a ghost town near St. Louis? Chris, that's very cool. I'm sure there are ghost towns everywhere, and just to go would be just so cool. I'd love to just do that, not have to do anything else. So that's the Mothman prophecies, and of course the movie. I think it was pretty good. It wasn't bad at all. So, and the film claims to be on actual events that occurred between, that year. So, Helltown, Boston Mills, Ohio. And like I said, the government was supposed to be involved in that. So you tell me. I think that goes under conspiracy theory too, that the government had a accidental chemical angels or giants? Could be. Very possible. That's a interesting thought on that. I never thought of that. Yeah, could be. Could well be. So, we went over all that, but I like, and I'm so close to Mansfield, I really need to go there. And like I said, a lot of these places I like to do an overnight. There's some in Ohio. There's Licking County Jail in Licking, Ohio. Oh, was it similar to Helltown? Was that another government thing going on there? Why am I not surprised in these smaller, unknown areas, things like this are supposed to have happened? It wouldn't surprise me at all. So we're back to conspiracy theories there. Interesting. So, Yeah, Licking County Jail in Licking, Ohio. That was